All right, everyone, we have head coach Oscar Pareja here. Oscar, thanks for joining us. As always, can you just start us off with your initial thoughts on the match tonight?
Well, a really hard game today against this rival with a lot of dynamic. I think they show that potential in the first half and confuses. And one of the sides of the field and our loaders there, we couldn't control it right away. We have moments in that first half where we couldn't probably score a goal and then take that pressure off. But it was hard and even harder when they scored the first goal. I really like the reaction of our players. I think they showed our braveness and character one more time. The second half was great. The players took the game by their own, and I saw our team playing much more football and having that volume going forward, and we tied it up. I think it will deserved game for us, and again a credit for these players that show character, and then we are our willingness is intact.
We will go to Austin David.
Good evening, Oscar. Just kind of expounding on that first to second half change. What was kind of the glaring thing that you noticed in that halftime break that you felt needed to be changed on the field?
We felt that it was not a need to change players or not even the game plan, because it was clear for us that we were convinced of doing it. What we needed was to execute it well and keep believing in where we are. And I saw that energy in the middle of the half and the locker room with the players pushing and the leadership of the guys there. It was incredible too. So good. The first goal from Ercan just brought us back to the game, obviously, and made us believe in the result at the point that we could win it.
We will go to Mike Ramajo next.
Thank you, Lucas. Profe, bueno, un empate de visitante, obviamente un punto que siempre cualquier equipo lo tomará, ¿no? Pero lo mencionaste un poco en inglés, donde dijiste que no pensabas que se tenía que hacer muchos cambios, pero se vio que modificaste un poco el plantel entrando el segundo tiempo, donde moviste a Facu más como un 10, lo cual fue clave, donde pudo buscar a Ercan para el primer gol, y obviamente Facu tuvo una parte en el segundo gol también, pero no sé si se discutió algo con los jugadores, en parte más en la energía que se demostró un poco en el primer tiempo y cómo tenía que cambiar eso en el segundo tiempo para poder sacar un resultado hoy, a lo menos un punto hoy. Gracias.
Sí, yo creo que es un empate muy valioso si uno quiere ganar todos los juegos, porque ese es nuestro criterio. Pero hay que magnificarles la voluntad de los muchachos hoy en un partido muy difícil contra un rival que tiene dinámica. Pero el cambio no fue ni siquiera de actitud. Yo creo que fue, empezamos a ejecutar las tareas mucho mejor. Entonces volvimos a la confianza y los jugadores que necesitaban ser decisivos lo fueron, ¿no? Que fue lo que no pasó en el primer tiempo. Y después controlamos el juego con un rival que tampoco no estaba renunciando, pero nosotros igualamos el juego muy bien y tuvimos un par de chances también. Ellos tuvieron una más, pero fue un juego mucho más equilibrado en el segundo tiempo.
We will go to Michael Citro next.
Hey, Oscar, thanks for your time. Just curious as to whether you always had planned to bring the fullbacks on at some point in the second half, or was there a particular point in the game where you saw you can make the change here and maybe exploit something? What was your thinking amongst about that change in the second half?
The idea was the same. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't change anything. And despite of the things that we're now working, I didn't think that it was the moment to change the personnel or change the idea. I thought the idea we had it very clear. What we needed is to execute it better and believe that we can do it much better. And the players understood the message and executed. And that's what I'm saying. And sometimes it is not. The things are not working, or the team is overloading you or doing things, but we're not doing what we can do. And that was exactly what happened in the second half. We did our job, and the result is that we scored 2 goals, and it could be another one too. So I'm proud of them. I'm proud because it's easy to go to the bottom in a game that when you lose into 2-0 in the first half, and this is a magnificent reaction. So we'll keep building on these guys that are terrific. I have such a respect for the group.
We will go to Alonso Contreras next.
Thank you, Lucas. ¿Cómo está, profe? Profe, un resultado que moralmente ayuda al equipo. Ahora viene Nueva York en casa, donde Orlando no ha podido hacerse fuerte. Es un partido de 6 puntos, como uno diría, ¿no? Porque Orlando ahorita se encuentra fuera de los playoffs. Pero con su experiencia, ¿cómo manejar este grupo, este gran grupo, para este partido clave que viene el miércoles?
Bueno, lo primero, recuperarnos bien. Y segundo, en ese momento, pues no voy a querer mirar el standing, porque es un momento donde pues falta mucha liga todavía. Y sí que cada partido es un partido de 6 puntos, sobre todo con los equipos de la conferencia. Yo creo que nuestro objetivo es ganar la liga, ¿no? Y para ganar la liga tenemos que tener consistencia, y ojalá que en el momento que estemos fuertes para entrar a playoff y estemos peleando arriba, seamos el equipo que dé visos de un equipo fuerte para pelear toda la temporada.
Time for a few more here. We'll go to Luis Carlos Pineda.
Hi, Profe. You know, it was a draw, important one against a tough team. Duncan McGuire came in, immediate impact. Is he going to have? Do you plan to maybe against New York at home, with the wall, possibly him having some minutes to start? How would you assess the offensive prowess of the team today?
Right. Well, Duncan is doing a great job and adapting to the league very fast. His potential is incredible. I think the club has on him a very good footballer for the future. I think he's understanding the game, he's understanding the league, he's understanding the movements, and Ercan as well. He got a lot of moments that we needed today, especially in the second half. And that's what we need from our strikers. You know, we need to score goals. It's not enough that we play well. It's not enough that we have good matches if we don't score, and they know. But the commitment is there. I say their commitment is intact. What you mentioned about Duncan is great. It's good. I think the fans should be very proud of him.
Right, we will go to Dan from the English line.
Hi, Oscar. Thanks for your time. I'm just kind of piggybacking off of Louisa's question about Duncan McGuire. Obviously, a few years ago, Daryl DK came through, and I'm just wondering what, if there are any comparisons you can draw between Daryl DK and Duncan McGuire in terms of their development and overall play.
Well, similar players in terms to their willingness and energy and that big body and presence that we have at top. As well, his ambition in the box is tremendous. Daryl had that as well when we brought him. I think for Daryl, it took a little longer to adapt to the league, to the speed of the game, to the pace of central backs, and Duncan is absorbing that information much faster, and not just absorbing it to play it, but absorbing it to score goals. That he knows that that's what the position requires, right? So both of them has a tremendous willingness to work. Their energy and their aggressiveness going forward is very useful for any team in the world. So we appreciate that, and we're proud of him scoring 4 goals in the league in 10, 11 games. It's not an easy task for a young kid. So very happy for him.
We have time for 2 more. We'll go to Mike Ramajo.
Oscar, obviously we're a game now on Wednesday, and then the team obviously back at it again on Saturday. Obviously, besides recovering, you mentioned a lot about how the team reacted today. Going into these next 2 games, and I know it's one game at a time, as you like to mention it, but going into especially this game on Wednesday, how does the team, in a way, sustain this type of reaction to start gaining some consistency as well? That it's something that you've been kind of talking a lot about with this team that it's still searching for. Thank you.
Right. Well, it's a tough league. It's a difficult matches, and they come every 3 days in these moments. So what we need to do first is recognize what that was the quality of our execution in the second half that brought us back to the game. Because in either half, I can complain about energy or willness or desire or discipline. It's just that we need to execute much better. So in second half, we came up and said, well, forget about the result right now and let's do the right things. Let's be ourselves and let's see. And the game just gave us that. We scored 2 goals, we could score 1 more. And we start feeling that this is us, right? So, well, that responds to your question. I think we have to keep that feeling and that emotion approach and execute the right things, because we have quality to do it. This is not just running. It's not running. It's the quality of our execution that needs to be improved. And let's see if we can keep this momentum of this 45 plus minutes.
And final one, we will go to Austin David.
Oscar, you talked about the execution in the second half. It was evident, but the first half, like you mentioned before, it was kind of not there. It's been kind of a theme throughout this season. How do you go about trying to get that consistency that you've been talking about as well throughout the season, and finding that throughout a full 90 minutes rather than having to have the talk with the team and get them in the second half?
Well, it's a great question, because consistency is something that we look for all the time in our life, in our games and in our jobs, and just doing the right things. But in a game that is so complex, where you have in front of you a team as well that has the same intentions and they prepare for that. First thing that we need to do is bring the energy and bring the desire to do the right things. And after that, just bring the discipline to do it continuously. So that will become a habit, and the habit make the good teams look better. But it's not just energy, it's not just willness, it's much more than that. It's the execution of the task. We have to have the habit to do it right so we can score goals and avoid the other ones. Again, I wish sometimes to take my shoes and put them in the field, but I'm on 53. I cannot even do 1% of what the boys do in the field. But they understand as well that my demandings is try to level our quality and trying to expose what we can do in the field. That's what we need to do. I don't complain about energy or commitment or nada. Discipline to execute better will bring us as a habit good results. The consistency that we're looking for.
Great. Thank you, Oscar. Appreciate the time.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
All right, everyone, we have Ercan here. Ercan, thank you for joining us. As always, if you could just start with your thoughts on the match overall, how you felt the game went.
At the beginning, it was we know that it was a hard game before the game, and it will be a hard game. It was first half a hard game. They they don't let us out. It was tough to come out. It was a game. First half, everything can happen, and yeah, then they scored 2 goals. But to coming back in the second half like that shows the character of the team.
We will start off and go to Austin David.
Ercan, congratulations on the goal. You talked about the character of the team being able to come back in that second half. What was the kind of mood in the locker room, and what kind of was the kind of decision making between the leadership of the team that kind of led to that shift from the first to second half?
First, when we came in, it was not good. Everybody was not good mood, but yeah, we leaders try to wake up the players and say like we can do it. We do it often, and yeah, and then we wake up with the first goal, and then we play well and score the second one.
We will go to Mike Ramajo.
Ercan, congratulations on the goal. Oscar didn't make any changes at halftime to start the second half, but I guess a move that he kind of did was move Facu over more in the center as a 10, and it played a role in your goal. It's not the first time we see Facu playing in that somewhat of that 10 position, but what's it about him playing in that position in regards to helping you out in terms of helping you find that space that obviously today it ended up in helping you get that goal to start the comeback for the team tonight?
I think me and Facu, we match really good. We showed it last year too, and I like that he play around me. You know that he have to play around me because then he gets the balls. And yeah, it was a great ball from Facu, and the finish was easy. And yeah, Facu is always important for us if you play 10 or on the side. But yeah, I like when he play close to me.
All right, we will go to Michael Citro.
Ercan, congrats on the goal and the result on the road tonight. You talked a little bit about that pass that Facu sent through for you, but it was kind of in your feet. Yet you made a nice little move to dig that out and push the ball out in front of you where you could get to it. How difficult was that move in traffic? And can you just sort of walk us through what you saw the goalkeeper do and when you finished?
Thanks that you see that. Yeah, it was a little bit behind me, but yeah, the first touch was okay, and yeah, the finish was 1-on-1 against the goalkeeper, and yeah, he decided to move a little bit earlier before I shoot, and yeah, he go in the wrong direction.
We'll go to Luis Carlos Pineda.
Hi, Ercan. Great goal. I do want to say, what was it, the change of attitude in the second half? It seemed that not only yourself, but a lot of your teammates, it's just kind of something sparked out of the blue. Are we going to see more of that against New York? And, what will you tell the fans? Thank you.
We need to show more of that, especially against New York. We know that will be a tough game too, but we play at home, and we want to bring that energy to Explorer Stadium, to have the fans around us and support us, and yeah, with the fans behind us. I think we can play like a similar game in the second half and press them and be high and don't let them out because in first half was like they don't let us out. And yeah, from the character, I don't think that that anybody feel like we play against New York the same way. I think we need to go from this first minute on like the second half, like always when we play solid and press and like our play. That's what the fans want. That's what we want, and we need to show it on Wednesday.
Time for two more here. We will go to Mike Ramajo.
Ercan, something that Oscar kind of touched on just a few moments ago was in regards to the team being more consistent for the full 90 minutes, especially on being able to execute in that final third. When it comes down to being able to be that consistent for 90 minutes, how disciplined does the team have to be, especially going into 2 games in 1 week, heading into Wednesday game against New York City, in regards to that?
Yeah. I think to play 90 minutes like that is our way to press. We need to be a little bit smarter at some points. Sometimes slow the game a little bit down and don't rush too much, because our game, how we play, costs energy for us. And we need to be smart on some points and maybe relax the game a little bit and keep the ball more. But it's the rivals play too, and it's not easy, and they want to score too, they want to win too, they press us. It's not easy, but I'm looking forward that we will show a really good performance on Wednesday.
And final one, we will go to Austin David.
Ercan, you talked about the response in the second half, but just for the game as a whole, as a response from the last couple games in the league, to be able to have a comeback performance like this, what does it do for the mentality of the team, just to be able to have this second half performance and this result heading into another tough stretch next week?
I think a lot. It feels not like a draw, it feels like a win, because we're coming back from 2-0. And that's give us energy, motivation for Wednesday, that we are able to play better. And now we need to put one step more on it and be all together and go out on Wednesday and win the game.
Great. Thank you, Ercan. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.